Yes, Attorney Adam?
And since nagkwentahan na lang man tayo ng violation of law, so bakit hindi na lang natin sagarin pa? Since we have already traced the series of violations committed by the state, the latest was yesterday when, according na kanina, there was already a violation of RA 6713 when you are entertaining for donations para sa bounty na yan. And aside from that, I also want to highlight what our brother discussed a while ago about this discrimination on how you treat people who are accused. Because kung titingnan ninyo ang nangyari kahapon sa presscon, yung dalawang pinakita sa press were covered, okay, to secure their identity, and yun nga ang claim na to protect their basic rights. But what about the presentation made by them with respect to Pastor Kibuloy and the 5 other co-accused? Bakit full yung pag-present ng lantaran, yung pag-present talaga ng mukha? So, anong pagkakaiba nila sa dalawang akusado na to? So, you see the disparity, the treatment of the state, kung paano nila tratuhin yung mga accused. Second is the violation of RA 6713 as cited by Dean Torion. I also want to highlight the constitutional violation and implication that was committed yesterday, particularly the violation on Equal Protection Clause guaranteed to us by Article 3, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, when yun nga, yung pag-treat ng accused not fair, not equal, even if they are on equal footing supposed to be. And second is yung pagbigay ng mas mabigat na bounty kay Pastor Kibuloy compared to the rest. And how would you differentiate the case of Pastor Kibuloy na ganun kalaki yung binibigay na halaga, na bounty, na meron pang mas maraming accused na nandyan, na mas mabigat pa ang cases, at hindi ganun kalaki yung bounty, ang iba pa nga walang bounty. So yun nga. So there is a clear violation of Equal Protection Clause. And assuming arguendo that there is really that donation, there is really that offer from private individuals, there is this a requirement also under the Constitution that since this is a public concern, it needs to be disclosed. So that is why we are challenging and demanding Secretary Abalos to name these people behind the initiative, kumbaga, reveal the donor, because this is practically donation. So kung ganun, you have to reveal it because this is a matter of public concern and we have the right to know.
Thank you very much, Attorney Adam. No, there is an emphasis on the demand, not just us, no, from the kingdom, but to the Filipino people to be transparent, no? Pakalanan nila sino tong donor na to, sino tong sinasabing nagbigay ng pera para dito sa bounty for Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy and of course his co-accused po. And still on the issue of bounty, kasama po natin isa sa mga reporters ng SMNI na gusto pong magtanong po sa ating panel si Jason Rubrico para ipaabot din yung ilan sa mga katanungan na tinatanong din ng ilan na makasamahan sa media po na ipapaabot din po ni Jason sa ating panel. Jason?
Good evening, ma'am, sir, sa ating mga panels po. Magandang gabi sa ating lahat. Still po, dun sa 10 million bounty na ipinatong laban kay Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy ng Department of Interior and Local Government. Kanina, na-explain po ni Attorney Torion na meron pong 5 parameters and malinaw po na hindi po siya pasok yung bounty na yon, yung pabuya na yon sa mga parameters. And with that, sa ating mga legal counsel po ng KOJC, do we think na yung reward money ng DILG laban kay Pastor is excessive since knowing na si Pastor Apollo ay has not yet been proven guilty?
I believe so. That this is really grossly disproportionate sa kinakaharap na cases ni Pastor. And comparing the case of Pastor with the other accused having the same case or even heavier cases, why do we have to treat Pastor differently from the rest? So it's really grossly disproportionate. Even the treatment of Pastor Kibuloy, may proper term dyan. I want to use the term singling out of Pastor Kibuloy from the rest of the co-accused by giving a heavier or a more bigger amount of bounty sa kanya compared sa ibang co-accused. So yun.
Rejoinder to the bounty. It is very alarming right now nang lumabas itong bounty announcement ni Secretary Abalos against Pastor Kibuloy and the other ministers of Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Nag-react agad ang Communist Party of the Philippines at ang New People's Army. This is very alarming because before po magkaroon ng mga hakbang ang PNP at DILG against Pastor Kibuloy, the first group to label and use unfairly ang termino na Duterte Kibuloy Criminal Group ay ang CPP, NPA, NDF. They took off doon sa gawa-gawang testigo na hindi na inulit ni Hontiveros, parang Bicoy script, a certain Rene, na nanghakot ng sakosakong armas, si Sara Duterte at si Rodrigo Duterte mula sa helicopter ni Pastor Kibuloy sa Glory Mountain. And pinaniwalaan niya ng PNP, kaya silang padala daw ng mga combat force at mga attack force ng SAP. So itong kwentong ito rin ang kwento ng project ni Trillanes to demolish the Duterte family, yung Bicoy na naging Picoy. Nabisto at nakakulong ito ngayon si Bicoy sa Bicol yata, sa krimen na murder, asalbay. Ngayon, ano pong role dito ng CPP, NPA, NDF sa bounty? At pwede po bang sila ay makialam para mag-execute ng assassination against kay Pastor with a reward ng 10 million? Kasi humingi sila na gawing 30 million plus 20 million pa. Mga kababayan, pananagutan na po ito ni Marcos Jr. at na kanyang mga top leaders itong binuksan na naging fair game si Pastor Kibuloy at ang mga ministers ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. The blood of these people, the blood of Pastor Kibuloy will now be in their hands kapag nangyari po ito. Sa US po ngayon, as we are talking here, ang Anakbayan USA at Gabriela USA, mga front and urban operators ng Communist Party at ng NPA, nagpapaskil ng wanted posters ni Pastor at ng mga kingdom ministers. Sa area ng port area, sa Tondo, last week, may ganito na rin sila, na alam na nila na pala nalalabas ito. So may mga wanted posters na pinalabas na. What do we mean by this development? The Marcos government right now is not only colluding, but rather shamelessly conspiring na magpatupad ng isang grand scheme of demolition, physical elimination, assassination, and even to the point of maruming laro sa politika na pagwasak sa mga pagkatao ng mga political critics, and they are taking off from Pastor Kibuloy and the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Malinaw po ito, ha? Ano po ang role dito ng tatlong party list sa Kongreso at ng Communist Party of the Philippines na inaalagaan? Pet ito ni Martin Romualdez, itong tatlong ito. Sila po at si Hontiveros ang tumatawag ng termino ng Duterte Kibuloy Criminal Group. I challenge Senator Risa Hontiveros. Ano ang proof mo na nag-i-exist ang Duterte Kibuloy Criminal Group other than yung gawa-gawang Picoy na testigo na si Rene na hindi na ninyo ibinalik dahil mukhang mabubuking ang script, similar to Bicoy na storyline, maliban sa ginamit ito ng CPP, NPA, NDF, na ikaw ngayon ay naglalamyerda kasama sila. You have no other basis to establish yung tinatawag na Kibuloy Duterte Criminal Group, other than the statements of the Communist Party and their urban operators like Franz Castro, Raul Manuel, and Arlen Brosas. Ang tanong ngayon dito sa Marcos Jr. government, papanatilihin mo pa po ba ninyo ang isang lawless elements? Sabi ni Sister Eleanor, lawless kasi walang kinikilalang batas, hindi sumusunod sa batas, pero nagtatago sa batas bilang otoridad, like Abalos and General Marbil. Hindi po ito ordinaryong press con. Right now, bumabaha ang pagtatanong sino ang real kingmakers sa likod ni Abalos ng DILG at ng PNP na nagpapatakbo na parang may isa pang mga otoridad na hindi elected na mga tao at kayang magdikta sa instrumentalidad ng Estado. At yan po ay malinaw na failure of governance ng Marcos government, and we are treading into a dangerous situation na parang sindikato ang pagpapatakbo ng gobyernong ito. Appropriately described by Kingdom of Jesus Christ Executive Secretary, lawless government.
Thank you, Eric. I have a follow-up question po dun sa 10 million bounty dahil nagtataka po na ang ating mga kababayan, kagaya ng sabi ni Brother Carlo kanina, na kailanman ay hindi nagnakaw si Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy sa gobyerno, kahit isang kusing ay walang ninakaw si Pastor Apollo. Instead, si Pastor at ang KOJC yung tumutulong sa gobyerno. Ngayon po, do we think na yung pagpatong ng 10 million bounty ng DILG kay Pastor Apollo ay parang na-misplace yung priority ng gobyerno? Kasi ang pinagtataka po ng ating mga kababayan na kung meron bang parehong intensity yung pagtugis ng gobyerno kay Pastor Apollo dun sa pagtugis sa mga smuggler, mga magnanakaw, mga drug lord, mga komunistang teroristang grupo, which is knowing this is the real enemies of the state. So the question is, para sa ating mga legal counsel po ng KOJC, misplaced po ba yung priorities ng Marcos administration?
I think this is more of a political question. May timeline kasi silang inahabol, Jason, bago mag-July 22. So na. Kasi mahirap, I'm speaking as a student of political science. Mahirap kang mag-ulat sa bayan kung wala kang iulat. So, paano ka magpapapogi? Kasi ang politika kasi pagpapapogi yan eh. Public impression yan eh. Oh. Paano ka magpapapogi kung wala kang tropeyo na ipapakita? And for them, ang nakikita nilang tropeyo, si Quiboloy, si Pastor. Kasi wala eh. Ngayon hindi nila pwedeng sabihin na maraming foreign investors. Kasi nasa Malaysia na at saka nasa Thailand na yung mga investors. Hindi nila pwedeng sabihin, anong tawag nito, maganda ang kabuhayan, maganda ang GDP, maganda yung GNP, kasi tumataas yung inflation, linggo-linggo tumataas yung presyo ng gasolina, tapos nauubos yung bigas, bumagsak na naman na 5 piso yung presyo ng palay kanina lang ha, dahil sa pinatupad na yung Executive Order number 62 na rice reduction ng tariff. So, wala kang ano eh. Ako, yan ang tingin ko. This is more of a political, anong tawag nito, action, rather than a legal na talagang hinahabol nila.
Attorney?
Noong nagkuha kasi ako ng bar exams, 1997 yun, no? Medyo matanda na siguro ako. Merong salida ng sine noon, di ko makalimutan, Wag the Dog, no? So, sa salida na yun, na-remember ko, yung presidente was subject for re-election, pero hindi niya makontrol yung sarili niya. Na-involved siya ng sex scandal. Tapos naging issue yun. Ang ginawa nung kanyang advisor, mag-create tayo ng diversion. Oh. So, yung kanyang political advisor, si Robert De Niro, my favorite actor, nag-create siya ng special war sa Albania. Kaya para ma-divert niya ang attention ng mga tao, hindi na mapag-uusapan yung sex scandal. Oo. I'm not saying that this may have been done by the present administration, but there is a seeming similarity, no? Na bakit tutukan talaga natin si pastor? May mga remedies pa nga siya under the law. Bakit hindi i-rule mo na yung MR niya para makaakyat sa Court of Appeals at wala naman talaga siyang kasalanan? I-draw mo yung attention sa tao para siguro hindi na mapag-usapan na yung bigas ngayon 50 pesos, 60 pesos na, or yung malapit na tayo magkagyera kasi under the EDCA, imbis na 5 sites lang, naging 9 na. So, 17 na ngayon. Other issues are confronting us which should have been attended to by the administration. But instead, I cannot help but feel that siguro ginagawa ito para meron tayong sine na makikita araw-araw. Kasi may SMNI si pastor sigurado, aangal tayo So, madraw yung attention dito at makalimutan na yung tumataas yung ating utang at yung ating korupsyon na grabe na masyado. So, hindi na mapag-uusapan. Yun lang pong observation ko.
Jason, briefly. Ang tawag naman dyan sa physics, displacement theory. Ibig sabihin, i-displace mo ang pressure sa isang panahon at sa isang lugar para mailipat mo doon. So, hindi na ngayon magkakaroon ng pressure direkta sa kanya. Sapagkat ang pressure ngayon ng mga nagbibigay ng kritisismo sa kanya ay nalilipat sa mga nagbibigay ng kritisismo. Magpapaliwanag ka ngayon na ilipat niya. Ayun ang pinaka-issue na iniwasan niya ngayon. Tama si Atty. Torion at binanggit ni Brother ni Jason sa displacement theory po, gusto nilang iwasan na hindi pala ang kapa ang totoong scam sa investment. Ang real big-time scam ay ang Maharlika investment scam ni Bongbong Marcos na dapat ngayon ay maimbestigahan. Klaro yun. At ang pinakamalaking scam na nawawala doon, 500 billion yun at pumunta pa sa Abu Dhabi o sa United Arab Emirates para
500 billion?
Billion ang pundo sa Maharlika, Sir Jay.
Di ba yun ang pinalusot ni Senator Angara?
Yun ang tanong doon. Bakit napunta si Angara sa DepEd, hindi nga niya may paliwanag na pinayagan nilang lumusot itong investment scam na Maharlika na pundo ng bayan.
July 19, you will be educated.
Number 2, sa displacement theory, briefly lang, malinaw po sa ngayon, ang nagaganap sa ating bansa, hindi po nasa kontrol ni Marcos Jr. ang buong gobyerno. That is the real problem. Misgovernance, failure of governance, at hindi siya nagpapatakbo ng kanyang gobyerno. Tama po ang binanggit na yun is Atty. Torion, hindi niya alam paano i-handle ang China issue. Litong-lito siya kung anong tumbling ang gagawin niya. Kasi ayaw niya, the accent should be faster, naglibog. Not on the first syllable. Okay, kasi naglibog, okay. Anyway, ang gusto naming puntahan dito, binubulit niya sa kamatayan ang ating bansa, nagkakagulo si Gibo Teodoro, halos hindi makaagapay, nagrereklamo mga general at mga officers sa Armed Forces of the Philippines. Dahil siya pala nag-utos ng go signal na magpa-deploy ng NABSOG. Naval Security Team yun ng Navy SEAL. Pinabugbog niya sa China Coast Guard, naputulan ng daliri, ayaw niyang aminin ang command responsibility. It all boils down to the Commander-in-Chief. The Defense Secretary is not within the chain of command. The chain of command starts with the President as Commander-in-Chief down to the Chief of Staff. Recommendatory, advisory lang at policy level ang Defense Secretary. But he is acting as the Commander. So itong problema ngayon ni Gibo Teodoro, malalim ito. Ito po ay kagagawan ng isang walang direksyon, walang batas, walang paninindigan at walang magawa sa buhay na uri ng gobyerno na mga illegal ang ginagawa, nagtatago sa batas, and yet ayaw aminin na illegal ang ginagawa because ito yung wag the dog theory or sa physics displacement theory. Para po lituhin ang taong bayan at i-confuse ang kalagayan ng mamamayan at hindi mapukusan ang pananagutan sa malubhang pagkawala ng kakayahang mamuno ng Marcos Jr. government.
I have last two questions, last two follow-up. Kasi parang napansin po ng ating mga kababayan, parang may misplaced priority talaga yung Marcos administration po. Kasi kung for comparison, dun po sa mga binigyan po ng pinatungan ng bounty. For example po, itong mag-asawang Tiamzon, yung mga CPP leaders. Pinatong po sa kanila, knowing na napakarami na lang na commit na paglabag sa batas, 5.6 million pesos each. Pero kay Pastor, na hindi pa napatunayan yung kasong isinampa laban sa kanya, laban kay Pastor, 10 million pesos. May we have your comments on this po?
Sige, unahin ko lang briefly. I know that case. Si Wilma Chamson at Benito Chamson, although patay na mga ito, at naging karne norte na yata sa Samar. Sorry for the term. They really become literally corned beef. Sumabog sila doon sa bangka, sa enkwentro, ay convicted sa abduction, parang kinidnap nila ang isang tinyente na naging general, kilala ko rin ito, at dinukot nila mga sundalo. They were convicted of that crime, and 40 years yata, attorney, reclusion perpetua is 40 years, tama po ba, attorney? Na-convict ito, tumakas. Talagang fugitive. Fugitive talaga from justice kasi convicted ang mag-asawang ito. At tumakas na sila. At tama po kayo, ang reward money, patong sa kanila, ay 5.6 million lang. Bawat isa. Kay Pastor, combined, ay halos magkapareho lang. Hindi pa convicted, wala pang trial, akusado lang. And by the way, the correct term, edlingaw. At pati na sa ABS-CBN, sa ANC na nag-i-interview, kay Pastor Kibuloy ay accused at large. Kalaruhin po namin na yun ang correct term. May mga abogado dito, accused at large. Or suspect at large. Kasi wala pang na-prove. Pangalawa, gusto nating i-emphasize dito sa lahat na nakikinig sa press conference at tayo nag-wrap up na that Pastor Kibuloy is a displacement target lamang sapagkat ang totoong gusto nilang i-cripple ay hindi na makabangon muli ang uri ng pamumuno na kagaya ng dumaan na Rodrigo Duterte. At hindi pwedeng bumalik ang isa pang Duterte bilang Pangulo ng bansa. Why Pastor Kibuloy? Because Pastor Kibuloy provided a very significant information trail na niyakap ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Whether we like it or not, kahit wala dyan si Pastor sa official na mga organisasyon ng SMNI, ang SMNI became a trailblazer and a different way ng pagbibigay ng impormasyon. Kailangan itong maputol kaagad. Ang pagdomina sa isang bansa ay nangangailangang i-control at dominahin ang impormasyon. Sorry to say, wala na pong nagbibigay ng ganitong talakayan. GMA, ABS, TV5, all of them tiklop, naninikluhod, either co-opted or corrupted. So ano na lang ang kulang para makontrol ang buong impormasyon? Eliminate Pastor Kibuloy, Kingdom of Jesus Christ, and then eliminate SMNI. Yun po ang game plan nila. And then, the Duterte and them, sunod na ito. Hindi po ito matatapos kay Pastor Kibuloy. Definitely. The story will not end here. Yung lawlessness of this government.
Maraming salamat po, Ka Eric. At ngayon naman, susunod naman na magtatanong, kasama naman natin isa din sa mga anchors and reporters ng SMNI, si Franco. Franco?
Yes, magandang gabi po sa lahat. Una po sa lahat, gusto ko lang din po tanongin itong bagay na ito na we know for a fact that the most organized crime syndicate in the Philippines, the number one enemy of the state, is the Communist Party of the Philippines, NPA-NDF. And we also know for a fact that this organization is declared or designated by the Anti-Terrorism Council as a terrorist organization. And one of the things that really complicates the most is the agreement that they had in Oslo that was on the 23rd of November 2023. Both of them, the Philippine government and this organization, are ganging up on KOJC. I just want to make it clear, is there any violation that the Philippine government committed when they had that agreement with the, which Vice President Sara called agreement with the devil?
Sa legal, then sa political. Okay. Yung tanong po ninyo ay ano ang posibleng na-violate na mga legal provision sa batas sa ganitong pakikipag-back channel talk doon sa Europe.
Correct.
At nagkaroon pa ng Oslo Communique na i-resume ang peace talk sa designated terrorist organizations. Okay, so magkakaroon lang ako ng political view. Ibibigay ko muna yung legal perspective sa kina-attorney Torion in as far as anti-terrorism law is concerned. Or baka after sa comment ko, saka sila mag-comment. Sige. Unahin ko muna yung sagot doon sa political aspect niya. Thank you, Brother Franco. Mga kababayan, malinaw po na naghahanap ng isang legacy daw si Marcos Jr. At gusto niyang papaniwalain tayo na sa kanyang panahon matatapos ang nagsimula na madugo at napakalupit na communist terrorism sa buong mundo na hindi pa natatapos hanggang ngayon. Nagsimula yan sa tatay niya. Okay, sa Marcos Sr. So ngayon, nagkaroon siya ng back channel talk last year. Nabulgar po ito at nag-react ang buong security establishment. AFP, PN, marami po ang nagulat na magbubukas ka ng pagkipag-usap sa 15th deadliest terrorist organization designated by more than 12 countries. Itong mga CPP, NPA na ito. Ngayon, ang sagot dyan is very simple. Gagamitin niya po ito na showcase for propaganda. Pero hindi po totoong magkakaroon ng kapayapaan sa ating bansa sapagkat hindi po iniiwan ng CPP, NPA, NDF hanggang ngayon ang kanilang layunin na pabagsakin ng gobyerno gamit ang armed terrorism and armed uprising against the government. Number 2, ang layunin nito ni Marcos ay isurvive niya ang kanyang natitirang panahon na hindi siya pupukusan ng atake ng CPP, NPA, NDF at doon mapupunta ang atake sa kanyang mga political opponents which nagsimula last year sa atake laban sa Vice President orchestrated by the CPP, NPA, NDF. At number 3, sa tingin ko po, ito ay isang political decision ni Marcos Jr. para po ipakita na kunwari siya ay may ginagawa para sa kapayapaan. Samantalang lugmok at tapos na ang CPP, NPA, NDF, ito ang kanyang gustong ipakita na sila ay magkakaroon ng political settlement. Tinanggihan ng kanyang amnesty offer at hindi sila kumikilala sa National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict at ayaw nila na magpapatuloy ang anti-terrorism law. Ang tanong kay Mr. Marcos, will it be legally tenable na ipagpapatuloy ang pakikipag-usap na dinesignate ng gobyerno natin mismo na ito ay mga teroristang organisasyon? Declared na ito sila. Kulang na lang ng judicial proscription against the 3, CPP, NPA, NDF. But I think this is an issue na iniiwasan niyang mabulgar. At yan ay nabulgar kahapon sa publiko na mayroon palang nagpapatuloy na back channel talks na ginagawa ang gobyernong Marcos sa CPP, NPA, NDF. Kung kaya, ang mga atake ay hindi sa kanya, kundi kay Pastor Kibuloy, sa mga Duterte, at sa mga nagtanggol sa gobyerno at programa ng Rodrigo Duterte. At ngayon, ito ang nagagamit niya bilang attack dogs niya. The legal perspective, bibigay ko sa mga abogado.
Well, this move on the part of President Marcos in entering into Oslo Joint Communique in 2023, admittedly, this is a political matter, a political decision on his part, and that is within his discretion. Okay, we cannot question that because that is a political question if the Supreme Court would term it. And since he is the President of the Republic of the Philippines, that is his wisdom as to how he will navigate the direction of the country. What we can say, however, is the much emphasis on this pivot towards peace talks of the government towards the NDF. When we know for a fact that there are more pressing problems affecting the country nowadays. Sa tingin po namin, ang pinaka-pressing problem po ay yung ating basic commodities na napakataas na. Yung bigas na 20 pesos ay 60 pesos na. Ako, taga Davao del Sur ako. Yung mga kapitbahay ko doon, umaangal kasi ang mahal na ng mga palaliton. Ano ba yan sa Tagalog? Sa mga bilihin. Oh. And national security issues. There is really grave danger on our part to merit an attack by China, and that has to be attended to. Widespread corruption. I am a practicing lawyer and I can really feel the widespread corruption nowadays, which is a stark difference from the Duterte administration. No? Although meron ding pitsi-pitsi noon, no? Pero mas grabe na ngayon. No? These are the pressing matters that should have been given attention by our president. And as to why he is doing this is a question that has to be answered by him. It's just that we feel that this should not be a priority.
Yes, thank you so much, Attorney. I just want to go back again to this question because there's an information came out about the still coming from the CPP. They want to add amount for the bounty. If I'm correct, yeah, that was 30 million for the head of pastor also, because we know that the CPP has two faces kasi. There's the illegal and there's the legal way. So talking about the amount equivalent to shoot to kill order, are we talking about because we're talking about the bounty hunters? The bounty hunters, there's a lot of organization. We don't know this in the underground world, but there's bounty hunters looking for this. Is this either Eric or Attorney, are this the legal way of doing this or the illegal way for the hunting of pastor? Because we cannot let this slip away. Hindi po natin ito pwedeng ipagwalang bahala ng mga ganitong impormasyon, especially we know that this is the CPP.
You know, sir, good that you stated that, because knowing that all the time I am now shown on TV, there are so many persons who will give me unsolicited information, such as but not limited to such information about rewards, no, which after checking may be true. No, I received certain text messages from friends and from other sources that there is that rumor that a part of the bounty which has been raised may have come from the left. Yes, and it's not only 2 or 3 persons I received in the text messages, no, but once we verify it, parang kasi may pattern na. So, kumbaga, sana hindi ito totoo, and yung admission lang ni Secretary Abalos, no, is really dangerous, no? And as a matter of fact, his admission is actually, no, unwittingly he may have admitted the commission of a crime, because indeed, if you put up a reward, the reward should come from the coffers of the government and not from private persons. Because indeed, if you will allow that to happen, what would prevent him from accepting gifts which are already in violation of PD 46 or direct bribery? No? Because direct bribery may be committed if he accepts gifts, even if it is for the purpose of doing some things which is not a crime. So, kaya nga, dapat sana iklaro natin na itong ginagawa nila kay pastor, no, hindi talaga makatarungan, and the amount itself really is mind-boggling compared to the other bounties that they raised as against real criminals.
Thank you very much. Attorney, yes, would you like to add, Attorney Adam?
I would also like to add this issue on putting additional amount for bounty, because this reflects or this shows the issue, or this raises a concern on the issue of intelligence fund. We have that allocated fund for that. Why are we depending right now on this donation made by private entities. Ano ba yung nangyari doon sa intelligence fund ng gobyerno mismo? At the same time, we have to consider that the rules clearly mandated that arresting an accused is purely governmental function. So meaning to say, there is now a question on the interest of these people who are really interested enough to sponsor or to add bounty just to arrest pastor, when in fact this is purely governmental activity. It's really a state movement supposed to be. Why is a private entity interfering on this and giving such amount? And a question of gaano ba or ano ba yung interest talaga nila dito sa likod ng pagbibigay ng pabuya?
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out, Attorney Adam. But it is, just to clarify lang po, no, on the issue, kasi na-raise kayong information that there's a possibility ng shoot-to-kill order, no, kay pastor. Pero nasa kapangyarihan ba yun ng gobyerno? May otoridad ng gobyerno para ipatupad ng ganitong klaseng order sa ganitong kaso po ni pastor? Attorney Creon.
I don't think so. Just like the rules on self-defense, etc., in the first place, Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy is not a known criminal. And there has been no record whatsoever indicating that he has committed a crime in the past or that he is a danger to the peace and order of and harmony of the community. So, issuing a shoot-to-kill order may be improper and, in fact, illegal. In so many cases decided by the Supreme Court, the police can only kill even an accused if there is likewise a consequent or imminent danger insofar as their persons are concerned. That is People versus Narvaez. So, if there is no imminent danger on the part of their persons once they are serving the warrant of arrest, they have no duty nor the obligation to kill the good pastor. So, wala pong basihanan po yun.